Good evening, America. Hello, Chicago, and what's up, West Side? This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. You could have been doing anything on this wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon, and you chose to come hang out with me today at Black Excellence Hour. And as always, uh-oh. I appreciate the company. If you are watching live, we are live in all kind of places today. I'm live on my personal Facebook page. Shout out to everybody that follows the P. Ray Easley page. Shout out to those who are watching on the Black Excellence Hours Facebook page. That is the show page. Shout out to those who are watching on the Chicago Red YouTube page. Shout out to everyone who supports Chicago Red and those who are watching on X. Share the live. Today's show is about going to the White House. On Thursday, I will be at the White House as a guest of President Trump. We are celebrating National Black History Month at the National Black History Month reception. And so myself, along with the other Black conservative leaders in this country, will all be in the building. So when people found out I was going to the White House, they were all like, hey, P. Ray, can you take this letter? Can you take this shirt? Can you take these cookies? Take all this stuff to the White House with you, girl. We got all kind of stuff to give Donald Trump. And I was like, well, I don't know if Secret Service will let me get all of your artifacts in there, but they will definitely allow me to give him a message. So today's show is about what do you want me to say to Donald Trump? Not that I'm going to say it, but I just want to know what the people want me to say so I can craft my message. As we know, I have always been very serious about housing in this city. That's what initially took me to the White House. That is why I got involved with MAGA. This is why I went to talk to Dr. Carson. I started doing housing while I was a teenager, working with Congressman Danny K. Davis. Shout out to the Congressman. I love you, Congressman Davis, in real life. However, when I found out that the city of Chicago was kind of playing with the housing, I decided that it was time to do something different. And so I figured out how to get to the White House. I did. And I went to Dr. Carson and he told me the plan that they were going to do. And they did it. And so we started Black Chicago for Trump. And here we are sitting right here, right now. It's a beautiful thing. But before we get into all of that, we're going to do a quick word from my Donnie. I cannot I cannot do this without him. And I don't want people to think this is an I thing because it's not. But I did have to take these moves myself because I saw that the leadership was not working. It wasn't, and everybody was acting like I was crazy. And I'm like, no, this is not right. Let's go talk to someone new. So we went to go talk to Dr. Carson, and here we are. But before we get that going, we're going to get a dose of self-esteem from the greatest president to ever do it. The president that invited P. Ray in Chicago Red to the White House, Donald John Trump Sr. Roll tape.
Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African-American communities all throughout our land. And our agenda is lifting up citizens of every background, race, religion, color, and creed. But while we are fighting every day to build up our nation, the far left only wants to wreck, ruin, and destroy our nation.
All right. That was Donald John Trump Sr., the 47th president, our current president. Moving on, let's get to the business. So as I was saying, Chicago Red is going to be in the building at the White House. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about this because my Donnie wrote a Truth Social tweet to me and said that I'll actually just read you the tweet because I was shocked that Donald Trump reached out to me, little old P. Ray, in this way. What he said was, P. Ray Easley, I watched your great interview tonight with Pete Hegseth. You are a real leader, far ahead of the times. This is happening all over America. We will put Chicago into the winning mix. We'll be calling you love to all Donald J. Trump. So he knows who I am. Hopefully, he'll be like, P. Ray, my girl, like he was when we met in Wisconsin. I'm telling you, Donald Trump was fanning out on me like I was fanning out on Donald Trump. I feel like some really good things are coming to the city of Chicago. The blue wall is destroyed. It's never going to be how it was again in this life. The Democrats are going crazy. They do not know what to do, how to do. They're like, oh my God, nobody tried to stop these people. And now it is completely out of control. But that's okay because that's what happens when you take people for granted. And we are done with these progressive perverts. Moving on. Speaking of something really weird, we're going to just kind of work through this today and then talk about what we're going to say at the White House. As you know, my Donnie has stated that all DEI measures have to be immediately removed from schools that are receiving federal funding. Well, a lot of people said, well, that is discrimination. It's going to hurt people. But I want you guys to listen with me to what DEI sounds like in the Chicago public schools. Roll tape.
My name is Mix Crystal, like Chex Mix. Can you guys say hi, Mix Crystal?
Hi, Mix Crystal.
Does anybody know what mix means? There's Mr. and there's Miss. Anybody seen mix before?
No.
So, mix basically means I'm non-binary. That means I don't identify as a boy or a girl, which means when you talk about me, which you better not smack, you're going to say they. Exactly!
My mom told me that if you don't want to be called Mr. or Mrs., you are called a they.
A they, them. So, and I'm going to ask you guys for example. So, I'm going to tell you one. So, if you're going to talk about like how like cool I am, you can be like, oh, Crystal is so cool. They have cool glasses and they have black hair and they have a cool little shirt and thrifted jeans. Who can give me an example? Yes.
They, Crystal, is very cool.
That's so sweet. Not they, Crystal. Mix Crystal. But I love that. I love that you said they, Crystal. I'll take it, honestly. And that's all. I just want to share with you. So when we are teaching and stuff like that, just call me Mix Crystal, or you can call me Crystal, or you can call me they, Crystal, if you want. I think that's pretty.
So Crystal was telling the children that they have to call her Mixed Crystal. Not Miss Crystal, Mixed Crystal. And then she went over her pronouns, and then the kids couldn't understand the pronouns. And then the kids were like, oh, you're they Crystal, right? So that would be the equivalent of saying she Crystal. But she said, no, it's Mixed Crystal, but that's okay. You can call me they Crystal. So not only are they indoctrinating the children with these DEI mentalities, but they are also using this measure to make the literacy of the children lower. It's absolutely asinine, in my opinion. So shout out to my Donnie for getting rid of this weird DEI stuff. It is definitely was a hindrance to the children. Moving on. Now, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if I told you guys this, but we know for a fact that every time we bring up reparations, they always tell us that there is no money for reparations and that they were unable to figure out how to get the money to the people, how to pay the bills. Well, my good friends at Doge, that's right, DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiencies, headed by Elon Musk, they have found a plethora of government waste to the tune of $22 billion spent and wasted on the illegals. They gave them grants to purchase cars. They allowed them to get home loans. They gave them startup business loans. They gave them food stamps. They gave them cash. They got it all, while they were telling people like me, people like my mother, who was literally a Jim Crow survivor, that they had absolutely nothing for them. Well, friends, the number that they initially came up with for people to get reparations was somewhere around $250,000. Did you know that last year a California judge approved a settlement for a family of illegal aliens, granting each minor $220,000? So the government has, in a way, been giving reparations to illegal aliens. This is absolutely insane. It says, in initial matter, at its inception, this case involved three minor plaintiffs, one who has been there since the age of majority, and the court is not required to finalize his settlement. However, they're saying this money. They sued the state because they said that due to the family separation cases, because these children were separated from their families, they're now getting 225,000 or $220,000 each for being separated. Now, we're not thinking about the kids like Baby T, who was in DCFS and got snatched up by the Burke family. We're not thinking about people who were in DCFS during the crack era. We're not thinking about the people who were separated through illegal adoptions. We're not thinking about the people who were separated because of slavery. But if you came over here illegally and you got separated at the border, the US government has $220,000 for you. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Moving on. We also know that this week, Donald Trump and Doge have both stated that they are going to cut government spending. And the USAID has been a slush fund for government workers. Well, this week there are tons and 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 tons of houses up for sale in Washington, D.C. So if you ever wanted to move to Washington, D.C., friends, this is your chance because everything is up for sale. There is literally a fire sale happening in Washington, D.C. Moving on, we also know that Brandon Johnson on March 5th is going to testify before Congress to talk to them about how and why the city of Chicago has spent all this money on the illegals. I hope that they also ask, why has the Chicago Teachers Union been traveling down to Venezuela for the past decade handing out maps to Chicago? It doesn't make any sense. Let's take a call. 773-345-9977. 773-345-9977. Caller, welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
I recall Brandon.
Recall Brandon.
That's right. We'll see, put him in the hot seat too. I like Doge. They're going to be investigating AOC and all these politicians that got real riches from being in Washington, D.C. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires with all this. And earlier today, I was on our favorite radio station, and we're always talking about things in Illinois and how businesses are leaving here. I'm hearing, I read Axios, they had a story that United Airlines might want to leave Illinois because they're building some big facility in Colorado by the Denver airport. And also, since Mama Hallis passed away, Virginia McCaskey, the Bears are going to be under new ownership, and Indiana is forming a sports committee to try to lure sporting teams to northwest Indiana.
Oh, wow.
So there's a chance the Bears could relocate over there too, and these people keep on complaining, my buddy Obedelli, but the rich don't pay their fair share, the corporations got to do this and this. I said, hey man, there's a word called competition, and we can't sit there and keep, belly aching about stuff because there's choices and people make them, and when companies leave, that affects everybody. It hurts people here in Illinois and Chicago especially, because the jobs aren't here. They're going away. So these people need to wake up.
Well, the Chicago Stock Exchange is going to close as well. Did you hear about that one?
I hadn't heard that, but I heard that might have. So that's a done deal.
It's like in its final stages. They're trying to take the exchange out of the city because they said now things are done more remotely, and it's just not a good environment for business.
Well, that's why I keep trying to tell these people, But at least on Rob McKay's show, they're starting to repeat some of my expressions, because I like Brother Cliff calls in, oh, black, black, black. I said, black, hey, you're too hung up by the color black, man. The color that's more important than black or white is green, as in Ben Franklin's. And when you have a system that allows you to keep your own Ben Franklins, that empowers you. And you got to quit doing all this stuff because jobs are leaving. Things are going to crap here in Illinois, and I don't want to see it happen. I think people should understand they're supporting the wrong people, and they always complain, but they don't change their voting pattern. And one other thing, too, out here in Kane County, for the first time, I did not bet on it. I don't know if you read it, but they want to impose a county-wide sales tax for the first time since the county was started. And that's because when the Democrats took over control of the board, they're spending all this money. When Chris Lawson was still the chairman, the increases in the budget wasn't that much. But then after the COVID thing, the last 2 years especially, the budget's gone up 27% consecutively to the last 2 years. And what they're doing is they're draining the reservoir, so to speak, the economic reservoir. And now they impose a sales tax, which is completely unnecessary. And that's also why Lawson ran to be the treasurer, at least to try to put some of the brakes on the stuff. It's just silly. These people get in government, so they just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, I have a question for you. If I got 2 minutes with Donald Trump, what do you want me to tell him?
Tell him he's doing a great job. I think, tell him, well, actually what I'd like to do is he should come up to Wisconsin and campaign for the guy, Brad Schimmel, who wants to be the Supreme Court Justice in Wisconsin, because right now it's a 4-3 Democrat. And if he gets in, it'll be 4-3 Republican. And I was at an event just this week up in Madison for the guy. And I brought up the fact, I came from Illinois, and 5 years ago during the Summer of Love, the governor, just like in Illinois, wanted to keep things shut down, but the Supreme Court, the Republicans said, hey, we're going to keep things open. And that caused, that's where we went up to Lake Geneva for that event for Paul Caprio, because they couldn't have it in Illinois. And I said that activity helped a lot of the economy in southern Wisconsin because people came from Illinois because things were shut down in Illinois. And this is why you have to have good Supreme Court to not let these things occur like they did in Illinois, and like how it helped you here in Wisconsin. So it'd be good to have Trump come to Wisconsin and stump for this guy.
We'll see.
In fact, I told Mark Vargas too, maybe he can try to make that happen.
We'll see. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Good show.
773-345-9977, 773-345-9977. What message are we taking to the White House from Chicago? Let's take another call. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Hi, P-Ray. This is Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey. I have a question. Do you think Brandon Johnson deserves jail time if he continue on doing this rhetoric what he's been doing?
Absolutely, he does. I mean, he's literally violating tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of laws, federal laws, like literally being disrespectful to the U.S. president while encouraging illegals to come to Chicago and impede our safety and security.
And do you believe if so, you also believe that half the city council members I think a third of them are black? Do they deserve jail time for helping impeding? Well, let me ask you a better question. Do you think any black politicians should deserve jail time for impeding or harboring these illegals that's in this country right now?
Yes, absolutely. Because again, they're purposely passing legislation to encourage this behavior. And they're telling people from other states, if you're in a state where your people will work for ICE or work with ICE, come here and we're going to protect you. So each person that comes to Chicago is coming with an invoice on their backs. We don't have any money for them. We don't have it. And then what makes them so special that they get to come here and spend our money?
So, okay. So what is your input about half of these Democrats that are black or the Democrat Party who plan on threatening to shut down the government?
I think that these people are enemies to Black America because we know for a 100% fact that illegal immigration has been a thorn in the side of the Negro since the 1830s. Frederick Douglass has been literally saying this since the 1830s. And here we are almost 200 years later having the same conversation. And the people who are pushing this, these are literate people. They can read the same thing that you and I read. They can research the same things that you and I research. They can listen to the same things that you and I research, which means that they are choosing to be enemies to our people, and therefore we have to excommunicate them. We don't have to fight them. We don't have to deal with them. We just got to move on, like we're doing with Chicago Red. We're not fighting them. We're not calling them names. We're just doing something else. And I'm telling you, Dennis, they are sick about it. Something happened the other day. I can't talk about it on the air, but I'll say this. They are very, very afraid of the upcoming midterm election. They're also very, very afraid because they know that it will never be how it was before. And a lot of people are about to lose a lot of power and renege on a lot of promises that they've already made.
Okay. Well, I truly believe that every last one of them, because the worst thing that about what the worst thing that bring black people down are black politicians. So they don't deserve no seats whatsoever. And if they do aid in helping these illegals from ICE, and then they trying to attack us like they did Lake and Riley and the rest of them throughout this country, I think we should take matters in our own hands without the help of the politics, because the police ain't gonna do nothing, because we got a black police superintendent. He barely do any little to none about it unless his hands is tied behind his back. Another thing is that you got these people like Jasmine Crockett over here getting so ghetto fabulous about everything. She don't even know nothing about the legislature. Is just the only thing she know is changing them eyelashing on a daily basis and still look like a Venus flytrap. So my thing is this here. I believe that it's time for black people to rise up, and I believe that the more black people understand how the Democrats operate and how the Republicans operate, maybe that things will be a little bit better, especially here in the city of Chicago. But the problem is that you got these black politicians and these black preachers who hands being greased by J.B. Pritzker for one, because Brandon Johnson don't have a clue about anything else. But they are doing that. So I truly believe that we need to warn these black politicians, because you got these socialist aldermen like Cinco Lopez, Carlos Rosa, and Andre Vasquez. They don't care about the black community. They don't care about nothing. But it's very ironic when you have all these illegals or most of these immigrants speaking on what affects the black and brown community, which it never affected the black community, because the black and brown never did interact with each other. They more divided than ever. So, like, we need to call them out every time there's a city hall meeting. That's my solution or my opinion on that one.
Thank you for bringing up City Hall, Dennis. That brings me to this point. This Wednesday is the day Chicago lands. If you are listening to me, there's going to be a city council meeting on Wednesday at 10 a.m. But then there are also buses going down to Springfield from Willie Preston's ward. They, meaning the Illinois Black Caucus, they are going to set it out against JB on Wednesday. They are asking every single person in the state of Illinois to come stand with the Black Caucus as JB delivers his budget address, because currently the state is $3 billion in the hole. And that's again because we've been paying for the illegals. And so they want to make sure that whatever budget cuts happen do not affect the Black community, because what JB is about to do is do a whole lot of budget cuts against the citizens in order for us to continue to pay for the illegals. So if you're not doing anything on Wednesday, try to hop on one of those buses to Springfield or go down to City Hall, because that is the day that the city and state are going red, baby. See, a lot of people think that they are not Chicago red, but the local Democrats have certainly giving them the blues. So we are all moving on. Wednesday, we're going to be in the city council. We're going to be at the state house. And then Thursday, I'm going to be at the White House. So Wednesday and Thursday, we are pushing this movement through the floorboard. So know that Wednesday, everybody has work to do. And Dennis, I hope that you could go down to City Hall.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. 773-345-9977. I can't believe I almost forgot that. That is super duper uber important. Again, this Wednesday, friends, City Hall or Springfield. If you got any time, this is the time to go and push the red movement. A lot of people think when I talk about Chicago Red, of course I'm talking about my Donnie because I love my Donnie. Shout out to you, President Trump. However, the whole purpose of Chicago Red is to center the American people in political conversations. We've been spending a lot of time talking about everybody else while we are suffering. Our taxes have gone up, our food has gone up, our insurance has gone up, our cost of living has gone up across the board because we are pushing a lot of money to people who did not deserve it. And now all of those people are getting ready to be sent back. They sent a lot of that money back, and we are still in the same positions that we are in. Therefore, Wednesday is the day that the city and the state are pushing the red movement. It's funny because I was talking to a state rep. I'm not going to say his name, and it's not LaShawn Ford because LaShawn is my homie, but he's never said this to me. Another state rep said to me, P. Ray, we are watching that Chicago Red movement. We are watching it, and we are so proud of you. You say and do the things that we want to say and do, but we can't say it or do because we belong to the Democratic Party. It's also very important to note that Madigan went to jail this week. He got found guilty on 10 counts, so he's going to die in federal prison. So the overseer in the state house has been permanently removed, and now the black people in the state house are ready to rise up against this socialist agenda that is centering illegal immigrants. So be sure to hop out this week and go to one of those meetings. Moving on. 773-345-9977. Let's take another caller. Caller, welcome to Black Excellence Hour. Hello? Oh, the caller hung up. Maybe they weren't ready. That's okay. Call me back if you can. 773-345-9977. As we are waiting for the calls to queue, I also want to remind the people that remember during COVID when people got those PPP loans and then everybody was like, oh, they forgave my loan. I ain't going to no jail. They can't catch everybody. They won't catch me. Well, friends, they are catching people. Let me play this video for you so you can know exactly how this is going to happen to you or somebody you love if you got caught up with the PPP loan. Roll tape.
2020, everybody was doing the PPP. My cousin did it. My brother did it. Then my best friend did it. I said, shit, sign me up. Now, I wish I never fucking did this shit.
Sorry.
So, bro, 4 years after the money already spent, I get a knock at the door the other day. Boom, 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 boom. Dallas Police Department, open the door. We know you're inside. Shit, I open the door because I ain't do shit. What the hell y'all banging at my door?
Oh, well, he doing too much cussing. But I'll say this. The police came to his door. They charged him with wire fraud, bank fraud, making false statements. They said that he either has to pay back the $20,000 and get less than 10 years. But if he doesn't have the $20,000, he's going to be facing 20 years in jail. So it's very important to remember that Doge is not doing the PPP investigations. The Department of Justice is doing the PPP investigations. That is Pam Bondi. Pam is very, very busy right now. And one of the things that she is focusing on is the PPP loans. So if you know somebody who got a PPP loan that was not supposed to get a PPP loan, know that they are going to be prosecuted. See, right now we are in the time of accountability within the United States of America, and anybody that has been doing anything illegal on any level is going down. Straight up. We are dealing with the illegals through the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. We're dealing with the swamp through the FBI and cutting off different aid programs. We're dealing with things locally by prosecuting those who tried to take advantage of the United States of America during a national pandemic. They are not playing with the people at all. Do not think that this is a game. Do not think that it cannot happen to you, because it is happening in real life, in real time, because it's time to get the money back. All of the money that they are going to collect from the illegal immigrants, from cutting out the salaries, from taking out USAID, all of that is going to be redistributed to the American public. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, P. Ray, they're going to cut the Social Security." They're not going to cut the Social Security. They're not going to cut Medicaid. They're not going to cut any programs that the American people are depending on to survive. However, they did state that starting in 2026, people are only going to have 24 months on Section 8. There's no more passing down your voucher. There's no more living on aid for the rest of your life. There's no more any of that. You're going to get 24 months to live off the government, and then you have to figure it out yourself, because we are bringing work ethic back to the United States of America. No more sitting around, no more working at the house. We got to get people back outside. We need butts back in the seats on the buses and the trains. We need people to go downtown so that the restaurants can sell sandwiches. All of this matters to the American economy. So while it seems like it's going to be very harsh, just know that this is happening because of the American government. They're also saying that an executive order that Maidani passed stated that everybody has to go through or not re-registering, but what they want is for people to make sure that the name on their voter record matches that on their ID. And so what the left is trying to do at this moment is saying that this is going to create a handmaid's tale, because this is going to prevent married women from voting, because sometimes their voter name does not match their married name and they didn't change it, and they just want to throw the women off the voting rolls. Oh, they're really pushing it, y'all, in real life. However, this is just an audit. We are doing an audit of the US government right now on every single level, because the left has allowed this illegal immigration thing to get completely out of control. And now every facet of our society has been tainted by illegals. Everywhere you go, illegals are in spaces that they're not supposed to be. And rather than us fight over that, we have to do an audit, a very deep audit, to first remove those people and then find out how the money is being partaged. Give us a call, 773-345-9977. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
What's going on, Queen? It's King Israel.
Hey, King Israel. How you doing?
No, Wednesday is very important. You just made me think about something. Willie Preston ain't the only one got to fly out there. I got a call from Justin Slaughter's office. They got to fly out. And I reached out to your state. I don't know if he's your state rep, but you mentioned his name or not. West Side guy, state rep.
LaShawn? LaShawn Ford.
Yeah. I saw 3 different flyers out here.
Oh, I didn't know that. So shout out to LaShawn for having the West Side bus. The West Side will be in the dough. Go ahead, King Israel.
I'm not saying flyer. I ain't say he got no bus. I'm just saying there's 3 different flyers out there, and I think they all got hidden agendas. And I'm personally telling the world, I hope the governor show all the Negroes how you feel about them, because it's coming from the top. They keep blaming Yo Donnie. I hope Donnie cut all their program out. You know what's going on. But one thing I did call you about, how you think about telling Trump we need his help turning Thornton Township red? I know you got a friend out there, but I value your opinion. What you think about turning Thornton Township red?
Thornton Township needs to turn red, and I'm going to tell you why Thornton Township needs to turn red. Number one, this is again, character assassination against Tiffany Hinger. The Democratic Party has allowed this to happen to her because she was the darling of the Democratic Party. See, what they do is they build people up and then publicly slaughter them when they don't fall in line with what they want them to do. They did it to Lil Jesse. They did it to Rob Blagojevich. And now they're doing it to Tiffany. Tiffany made a video about how Jedediah Brown was paid to come out there and harass and belittle and just treat her bad. They paid this man to come out there and do that to her. So what I've been telling Tiffany is leave them people alone. Come from around them, Tiffany. Everything that the Democratic Party has taught you when it comes to being a leader or being a politician did not work. And now they're turning against you in order to put you through some type of humiliation ritual. Why? Because this is what they wanted to do. This is what they've been doing to her from the beginning. So it's not even so much that that's my girl, because she is good people, but it's more about watching a woman being publicly executed like this. They did it to Dorothy Brown. To this day, when someone says Dorothy Brown's name, people think convict, slickster, scammer. She's never been indicted. She's never been charged. She's never been anything. But the Democratic Party was very, very good at tainting her name. And they did the same thing to Tiffany because she brought Dorothy out there with her. So that's what I think. I think that Tiffany would do very well if she told the Democratic Party to kiss her pretty round black booty. I'm sick of them. What they're doing to her is disgusting.
And tell me how you really feel.
No, I just don't.
No, listen out.
Yeah.
Because I got some guys out there calling me, and I'd like for you to vet them. Because I'm not Democrat or I tell the world that, but I'm at war with Democratic Party for almost everything you said and more. So I'm saying I'm looking for. I might go and roll with these people and turn Thornton Township red. And I know you're good at that too. So let's sit down and talk about that.
I would love to. I've spoken to some people out there as well. They reached out to me, and we're like, okay, we're interested in Thornton, but as I told them, I'm loyal. One thing about P. Ray that everybody knows about me very well is that I'm loyal to my people. And again, I just know that my homegirl got a bad, horrible rep for trusting people. Remember, Tony Pratt-Winkle put Brandon Johnson and Tiffany Henry in play at the same time. So if Tiffany is so bad and she's so scandalous and all this other kind of stuff, and Brandon is doing the same thing, why aren't they getting the same type of responses? Who paid Jedediah to come out there and harass Tiffany like that? That's the question. And how is he getting away with it?
I was thinking about it, turning it red. So let's sit down and talk about it and strategize about it.
Let's do it. I'm always with I'm always with the plan. Just let me know what we got to do.
If you don't mind, who reached out to you from out there? If you want to say it publicly.
I don't know. I don't even know the man's name. He was at a dinner with somebody that I know, and he got on the phone and we had a little talk. But that's it.
White guy, black guy?
Black.
Okay. Well, don't worry about it. I know who all out there, and like I say, let's sit down and talk about it serious, because I heard how they painted the picture where if we turn Thornton Township red, then you were saying some other midterms coming and some other things. It's a chain reaction to turning this thing red. But I need to talk to the Republican Party. I'm sick of putting people in power, and then they don't act like they forgot who put them in power. So that's why I say I trust your judgment. I know you see what's going on. You loyal, I'm loyal. But I got to have some serious conversation with people before I get behind them moving forward.
All right. We'll talk in a little while.
Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. Shalom.
773-345-9977. I want to share with you all also that this is our last week here at Intellectual Radio. Intellectual Radio kept the movement going when they tried to get rid of us. They tried to silence the voice because they saw that Chicago Red was winning. They thought that they were going to humiliate and belittle and diminish the voices of the people, and Intellectual Radio kept it going. So I thank Intellectual Radio for giving me a home, for making me comfortable, for putting up with P. Ray and all P. Ray's energy. Starting next week, the show will be on WLS AM 890 at 1 p.m. on Sunday. We going back to the radio, y'all. We going to the big antenna, the one that don't get quiet in the evening. Okay, we are going to the station that is going to get us heard from sea to shining sea, because this movement of urban MAGA is just getting started. See, people thought that it was a game, and now they see that we're winning, and everybody wants to be with the winning team. So Sunday at 1 p.m., meet me at WLS 890 AM, and Black Excellence Hour will be there having a time with a strong, clear sound. See y'all in a little while. With all that, will I be on Facebook while on WLS? Of course. I am going to be broadcasting just like I'm broadcasting now, but we're going to be on the antenna so we can get back in the cars and that people can listen to the movement while we drive. With all of that being said, the music is playing, and that means, that's the beginning of the music. The music is playing. And that means that we are at the end of the show. Man, y'all, I've had a ball out here in Westchester. I've met all type of good people, gave some hugs, shook some hands, and they were with us while we were in the campaign. See, a lot of people get a lot of pushback for working with P. Ray. They want me to be lonely. They want people not to like me. They want people to hate me. And guess what? Everybody loves the movement because the movement is for the people, the American people, God's people, those who are buried deep bone and flesh in this land. It is ours from sea to shining sea, and we're not going to stop until they put us first in our country where we work, where we are not immigrants because we are American as sweet potato pie. This is P. Ray, a Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. I'm going to see Donnie Wednesday, baby, and a time is getting ready to be had. I love y'all so much, and pray for the kid. Mwah. I love you, I love you, I love you. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you. I might come back. Yep. We're going to see how it goes for the first month. Oh, yeah. Because to do 1 day a month here is 40. Yeah, I could do that.
Lord have mercy. Hey, Tony. Hey, man, you see that woman over there? Man, oh man, that's a country girl. She digging the right way. Check it out.